Hello friends, this is Jasu Bakuhatsu and welcome to Let's Play Animaniacs for the Sega Genesis. This is of course the game based on the popular Warner Brothers cartoon series from back in the early to mid 1990s. And this is actually one of the shows that I grew up with. I was a big fan of the Animaniacs back when I was a kid growing up in the 90s. And this is also one of the games that I grew up with back in those days as well. Animaniacs was one of the few games that I actually owned for the Sega Genesis back during that time. I did most of my other game playing through, rentals and borrowing stuff from friends and whatnot, but this one I actually owned, so consequently this is one of the games that I played a whole lot of, almost probably more than just about any other game on the Genesis. And I know this one pretty well, and it's a fun little game, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. So let's just get right into it. Or before we get right into it, I'm gonna be playing on normal mode because hard mode is a pain in the patootie, which I believe is a word that means butt, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know where I've learned that word. Hard mode gives you fewer lives, you take more damage. Actually makes the game a lot harder, almost frustratingly so, I found in my test play. So I'm going to be playing on normal just like I used to back in the day, which makes the game's not too difficult on normal, actually. It's a kids television series, kids game, very kid-friendly game. It's not very difficult. You've got some very simple puzzles to solve a few times, but other than that, it's just like kind of your standard Sega Genesis platformer from back in the early 90s. It's got some fun stuff. It's a good-looking game. I think it captures the spirit of the cartoon show very well in a lot of ways that I'll get into once we start the game proper. But, I guess you can just maybe listen to me talk while Yako's explaining the plot here. And I guess speaking of plot explanations, I don't know, how much do I really need to get into what the Animaniacs were all about? I guess just basically to give a brief summary. You join the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister Dot, and just for fun they run around the Warner studio lot, and Ralph locks them in the tower whenever they get caught, but they break loose and then vamoose, and now you know the plot. And that's how things start out here right in the game. They bust out of the water tower, and dang it. One of the things I like about this game is there's a lot of hidden secrets, and you aren't typically rewarded very much for them. Like here I hopped on a couple of the Goodfeathers heads who are hanging out below the water tower, and I get a couple stars for that, and that's typically the rewards you get for finding these secrets, is just some random hidden stars, and when you get 100 of them, you get an extra life. Woohoo, this game is pretty easy, so it doesn't really matter, but nevertheless, I kind of enjoy that about it. It's kind of fun seeing what there is to uncover, and yeah, there's so much hidden stuff in this game, I probably don't even know like all of the stuff that there is to find. So the basics premise of the game is that, you're controlling the Warner Brothers. Each of them has, and the Warner sister Dot, and each of them has a different sort of special ability, and you use each of their abilities to get past different obstacles. There's a little bit of very light puzzle solving, and in some cases mainly based around crate puzzles, which is kind of, pretty much almost the only sort of puzzly mechanic that the game really has. So I'm sure you could figure out the Warner's abilities just by me going through that little intro stage right there. But Yakko, right here in the slacks, he has the ability to push and pull crates. He's the only one who can do that. And also he has this little ball and paddle that he has, which is pretty much your only means of attack in this game. We've got Wacko here, who's got a hammer, which oddly enough doesn't really... You don't ever really damage enemies or kill anything with the hammer. It's mainly used for breaking blocks and lighting fuses, weirdly enough. Yeah, you can light bomb fuses and cannon fuses with the hammer, for some reason, I guess. And Dot, who can blow kisses at people to sort of stun them and let you jump on their heads or get them out of your way or do whatever. And that's pretty much the whole game right there. It's basically just using the Warner's different abilities to deal with different obstacles that the game throws in your path. And most of these obstacles are pretty simple. It's like, use a hammer to bash something that's in your way or blow up a bomb or something. Use Dot to stun something that's in your way, or Yakko to solve simple crate puzzles and attack some of the enemies that appear. But other than that, it's mostly a platform game. There's not really a lot of like enemies to deal with either. It's mainly sort of jumping challenges and some very light puzzle solving. And one of the recurring enemies that appears throughout the game is, of course, Ralph, who's the security guard who tries to keep the Warners under control to little avail in the show. And there's actually a lot of characters from the show in this game, and which is another one of the ways that I think that the game really does a good job of sort of capturing the spirit of the show. Is just frankly just including first of all, the game looks really good. I really like the way that the sprite work on all of the characters. They look very true to their sort of cartoon show counterparts. Everything's very bright, very colorful and nice looking, and it looks like sort of an Animaniacs cartoon, or at least as close as you could come back in the day to sort of looking like a cartoon. Sega Genesis actually had a lot of good-looking cartoony style games back in those days. You might notice that I'm kind of weirdly going out of my way to collect like stars everywhere for no good reason, and basically because of the amount of time that I spent playing this game as a kid, I don't really play games like this anymore, but back in the day I was like really OCD about that kind of stuff, where I just try to collect like every coin or every ring I could find everywhere in whatever sort of platform game I was playing, and I don't really play games like that anymore. Like even classic games that I used to play back in the day, like I don't care much about collecting rings too much in Sonic the Hedgehog, but for some reason I've kept that habit in Animaniacs. I don't know why, it just seems kind of fun. It's like the stars are kind of put in slightly out of the way places to make it a bit, not really challenging to get to, but just you kind of have to go a little bit out of your way, but not too far out of your way to get them. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun. I really like collecting stars in this game. So speaking of how fun it is to collect stars, there's some stars down here which point out a hidden secret. You find these little bonus roulette wheels occasionally hidden in different places in different levels. If you actually count the number of spaces on the wheel and compare it to the payouts, Yakko is actually the only one who actually pays out in the long run. If you want to earn stars off of this game, the way you do that is basically betting on Yakko every single time, since that's the only way to, or at least statistically, the most likely way to be profitable. And that's about all I have to say about the roulette wheel. You can play the game as many times as you want once you find it, but once you uncover it and exit it, you can't go back in. If I drop down there again, I am going to die. So, and yeah, that was definitely fun to find out on my test play. And yeah, this is actually one thing that stumped me for like ages as a kid for just no good reason. For some reason, back in the day, I never thought to try jumping on those rocks. So I just always, whoops, you bugger. I always just tried there was no way to jump across there, and I couldn't figure out how to jump on the rock. So I just tanked the hit all the time, which actually made the game pretty much impossible for me to beat on hard, because on hard mode, you take you almost die instantly from the spikes. It takes away almost all your health. And so sometimes the stars in this game lead you to hidden secrets, but this one actually, that line of stars you see down there actually just leads you to those spikes I just rode the rock over. And so occasionally stars lead you astray in this game, which is kind of not cool in my opinion. I think I'll just bet on Yakko once each time I find one of these, just to see if I can get anything. I think that you can maybe slow down the wheel a bit faster by jamming on the buttons, but I'm not sure about that. It's it seems that it works sometimes, but that might just be... but other times it seems like it doesn't work, so it might just be me being superstitious. That's what I always used to do as a kid, though, just because I thought it worked, so I still do it. For no good reason. I'm going to continue being OCD about these stars just because, force a habit, and yeah, like I said, kind of fun. I enjoy it. But I guess sort of gameplay-wise, this game isn't really anything too special, I don't think. It's just very, very simple. Mostly, it's you come across obstacles, and it's pretty much immediately apparent most of the time what you need to do to solve each thing, or what ability you need to progress. I guess it's not actually that obvious that you need the hammer to light the bomb fuse, but they sort of teach you that in the first level, so that bit of counterintuitive... I wouldn't even call it cartoon logic. I mean, I guess maybe post in the comments if the Warners ever lit a fuse using a hammer in the cartoon show. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they did. There's actually a lot of oddly specific, like, references to the show here. Like, some characters appear in certain levels who are, like, just one-off like, minor supporting characters who might have only been in one episode of the show. That meat and clock there is a trap. If you try to go through that little tunnel there and collect either of those, you will get warped back to the beginning of this section. So yeah, this game kind of likes to be a jerk to you sometimes. I guess you could argue that it's like in the spirit of the cartoon show and that the Animaniacs were kind of jerks to people sometimes. Actually, huge jerks in retrospect. I actually did watch some episodes of the cartoon, which I hadn't seen in a while, to get myself in the spirit of the LP. But, and yeah, it actually holds up really well, but I was actually really surprised at just how badly the Warners can torment people in some of these episodes. I mean, it's a funny show. It's definitely not, like, super mean-spirited or anything, but, yeah, the Warners just totally torment, like, pretty much anyone they come across, and it's kind of hilarious. So, this boss, you can actually make use of a fun little quirk of, the way that the different ability animations work is basically the attacks come out, or your abilities come out faster if you jump. Like you see Wacko has a little wind-up animation if you just do it on the ground, but if you like jump up in the air, you can hit the hammer much faster, and you can actually stun lock that boss by using that trick. There's a few other places in the game where that trick comes in handy as well, which I'll show off. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the basics of Animaniacs, both the show and the game. I think I described a little bit what the show is about, or at least enough to give you guys an idea. And yeah, I do recommend the show for those of you who have, never heard of Animaniacs and are kind of curious to know what it's about, or just, even if you're not curious, even if you just don't care, just whoever you are watching this, go check out Animaniacs. Whoever you are. Like I mentioned, it's kind of a kid show. I mentioned it's a kid-friendly show. It's for all ages, really. There's like a lot of good humor for like people of all ages. I can get more into that as we talk more about Animaniacs as we go through this series. But yeah, that's sort of the intro to the game and intro to the cartoon show. And yeah, we'll get a bit more in depth as things progress. Anyways, that was the first stage. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.